called it the Tennessee Valley Association. Went through Tennessee and Kentucky, and this we'd stopped at the Albert Pick Hotel. This was our first night on the road. And this was Fire Prevention Week, so I guess they had some fire fighting people there. This is another one of the lakes at the Tennessee Valley Association we stopped at. Really pretty, all the water and the scenery. That's one of the dams generating power. And moving on. No air conditioning, so you gotta keep the windows open. This is a beautiful little stream. It looks like you just lay down there and drink your fill out of it. It didn't come out as good on the film as it looks. There's I really like streams like that. This is at Myrtle Beach. This is after we moved into our housing, and this is a little girl across the street riding a bicycle. I think that's Arnold Bias. He was my chief clerk, and his wife there, and they had two little girls. So I guess that was Arnold's girl. That was Rockwell leaving our house. They spent 2 weeks with us, ate us out of house and home. And that's the mailman. I think Steve may have this camera. That's our house that he's delivering mail to. This is Larry's tank that he had. He built a rock pile for it to go over. I think he still wishes he had that. This is the inside of the house. Steve always liked to take pictures of the new places that we moved into. The wooden carvings we picked up in the Philippines. That's my recliner. Put a hole in the arm of that with a putter. Mother's coffee table arrangement. And this is us getting ready to go to the dining out that I was president of the mess, and so she was checking my bow tie and making sure that everything was kosher and we were ready to go. That's our flamingo picture that Steve got himself another copy of off of eBay. Of course I have to inspect to make sure she's alright. Here again is Steve taking pictures of everything. He moves rather quickly with the camera. Don't take him long. So I'm going to have to cut it off right here as my tape is out, and I'll get another tape and be right back. This is Jack Kennedy's funeral procession. I taped that off the TV. This is our house, and boys out front. And now they're supposed to go get Mother. There they go. That's our old Plymouth sitting in the carport. Funny how when we had the old movie film, how you had to get people to move around. They were used to just taking still pictures. So now you gotta coax everybody and tell them move, do something. That's a little ditch in the back that we had there that Swatsy, our dog, liked to get into and play all the time. And the boy's bicycle. Back of our house. That's behind us. I'm taking it out of our yard. That stump there, I spent I don't know how many days chopping on that, trying to get it chopped down, and finally made it. Okay, this is the beach party. What I did was the guys that I took TDY on exercises, initially when you started taking people on exercise, I had over 300 people there, and so none of them wanted to go out in the field and live. So the minute you selected a group, why half of them would run off to the hospital and they get sick excuses and all kinds of things that they couldn't go. So what I started doing is every Saturday we had a open ranks inspection by the commander, and we had to march the whole squadron down to one of the revetments where they used to park fighter planes, and he'd have a inspection and troop the line and all of that jazz. So what I started doing when I picked these people to go on deployment, I'd put them into a separate squad and call them by whatever the exercise name was and march them out first, and then the rest of the radar operators, and I always wound up being the guy that had to march the troops down there. The first sergeant didn't do it. And when we came back from the exercise, I gave them all 3 days off, and I gave them a beach party. And the people who stayed behind were the ones who had to make all the arrangements for getting the party set up, and they had to do all the cooking, and they had to do the cleanup. And the guys that had gone on deployment just came out and had a good time and ate and drank and went home. Pretty soon it got to the point that I didn't have any problems with the people going on deployment running over to get hospital excuses, because the guys were all wanting to go because it was kind of being treated like royalty when they came back. And I ran a full-time coffee shop, which gave me the funds to do this, and so it worked out pretty good. That's the first sergeant with his back on a blue shirt. He was a ex-fighter, boxer. And that's Anita on the left. gosh, I forget who's sitting next to her. I think it's Swafford's wife, Joe Swafford, one of Master Sergeant, I guess he was. That's the kids playing on the beach. This little gal here, she liked dill pickles, and she kept dropping it in the sand and picking it up and eating it, so she's eating more sand than she was pickles. So, that's the first sergeant. He's doing the cooking today. Sergeant Ware was his name. When I left Myrtle Beach, the squadron commander had him come to the house and pick Anita and I up in a rental vehicle, haul us up to the colonel's house, and he gave us a going away party. Yeah, that's First Sergeant's wife sitting on the left. That's Sally Johnson next to her, and then Joe Swafford's wife, I forget what her name was, and then Anita. And you can see how black Anita stayed all the time. Fun in the sun, I guess. They were having a good time. I never did care for that much for the water. Pickle gal gets her feet wet. This is down at the park area. They had a couple of statues on the way to Charleston. Stopped and took a couple pictures. And this is a Christmas, I guess our first Christmas there. And Leonard and Pat came down, and Brad was, I guess, the only child they had at that time. That's Leonard sitting in the recliner. That's Anita in the kitchen. And the boys all trying to get in on the show. Told them hurry up, I was about to run out of film. And that's Brad. He's now a principal of a middle school, I guess. Pitched some for the Texas team. That's Elwin Martin. He was kind of my gopher guy. He was good at paperwork and organizing stuff, and just an all-around good guy. His wife, though, was president of the NAACP there on Myrtle Beach. She was a real radical, I guess, even though we did go to their house and play some card games, but she didn't